There's a lot of doubters there, and sometimes it's nice to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. Everyone's always saying one thing, and it's always about my dad. I've finally gotten to that stage where, it's not about my dad, it's about me, and I'm doing this all myself.
He's done very well. He's got main event from a very early stage in his career, and he's rolled with it. But right now he's been overhyped. He's beat everyone that's put in front of him, and you can't ask any more of a fighter. So fair play to him. But that's why I'm here. I want that position.
I want to be able to break him down. I want to go for knockouts, for TKOs. I'm not into this decision anymore. Not my cup of tea. This is boxing. You got to have power. You got to be able to hurt your opponent. If he's in it just to titty tap, dance around the ring, throw a few overhands, it's going to end bad.
I've always been overlooked. I was double the price from Hungary. We all seen what happened there. I'm having a good camp right now. I know I'll be in there better than I would be from Hungary. People from America who I've never spoke to before are saying, Tim's made a big mistake here. I wouldn't judge my confidence on what other people are saying anyway. I truly believe I'm winning this fight well, very well.
I want to test Dennis. I want to see what he brings, because he is that world scale type of opponent, so I want to see what he brings. And then once I want to hit the gas pedal, I'll go for it.
This is all I want. It's all I dream about. So I'm just a man on a mission.
A lot of people are in dream world. Sometimes they need a reality check, and luckily boxing allows me to give people reality checks. I think people are joining the team. I've got great support around Australia, great support around Russia. Everything's growing. Of course there's going to be doubters, but you need doubters, and you need people to say that can't be possible, because when people say that just makes you want to work even harder.
People see this kid, he's up and coming, he's a young bull, and he's done it well, in his last two fights especially, he's got the knockouts. I think this is a brilliant matchup, I really, really do. Obviously, I know I'm going to get the win here, but in terms of everything on paper, on everything, it's very, very interesting.
Life hasn't really changed. Privacy's gone. Just being able to go eat a normal meal somewhere has completely changed. I was always used to it with Dad, so for me it doesn't really bother me. Look, it's part of boxing. I think I am being mentioned there in the super welterweight division, having defeated a former world champion last year, and having been able to put on big fights, something that the world hasn't been able to do. And this year we intend to make the name grow even more and to be in there with the champions.
Oh, nice. Big body shot, uppercuts, over the top, and Tszyu passes forward, and down goes Hogan off a massive left hand. His legs are not there.
I've been working on power for a long time. Specifically in this camp, I needed to make a statement where I don't want to just drown my opponents, but I want to be able to dismantle and get rid of them straight away. And this was the type of opponent who, comes forward, a come forward type brawler. That's the type of style that I needed to prove myself. I was thinking of a certain punch that I'm going to land, and there was a few punches there that I was thinking about. I knew he was rattled. I saw his eyes go cross-eyed, and I knew I had to dismantle and get rid of him. So I was thinking about the punch, and as soon as I walked towards him, all I had to do was, for that split second, was to see which hand drops and which shot would be the finisher.
Tszyu pressing forward. That's enough, mate. That's enough. Dominant, destructive performance from Tszyu.
And I felt it. I felt that energy, I felt the atmosphere, and it proved to help me on the night. Bowen, I thought, is a strong opponent who was going to test me. In boxing, all it takes is one punch, and that one punch is all it took.
We're going to send him on the floor. We're going to send him on the floor. World title. World title, bro. World title, bro. World tour. Hey. I did it first. I knocked Jeff Horn out. You got the better Jeff Horn. You got better Jeff Horn. You're fighting welterweights. You're fighting welterweights.
Brother.
You're fighting welterweights. Step up. Step up. I'm here.
Michael Zarafa is an attention seeker. That's the only reason he came up. He needed people to talk about him. He needs people to be looking at him. So that's all it is. That's just how he is as a person, I guess. I think it's quite disrespectful to be fighting Mundine at this stage. It's all about challenges, and everyone knows Mundine's past his prime.
I was born in Dublin, 1985, and I lived in Kildare my whole life up to the age of 25. I was 26 before I moved over here. My grandfather was the local boxing coach, and so I was brought along from the age of like 5 or 6. And my mum was working nights, so I don't remember life without boxing, and that's 3 decades ago now. My first underage fight at 8 years of age, and I fought underage, no winner, no decision till the age of 11. Had my first competitive fight, which I won, and went on then to fight for many years, winning national titles and boxing for Ireland many times, and made the Irish team, and have a multi-nations gold medal as well for Ireland. The thing about me for most of my amateur career was I never had big goals to be Olympic champion or be the world champion. It was just in me to just go back to the gym, and then I'd have a fight, and then I would fight, and you know, whenever I was asked to fight, I would fight. Unlike a lot of people that I know that I grew up with, they went all in on boxing, starving themselves all the time, didn't, you know, really get to mingle, go to discos and stuff, and they went all in and they sort of burnt themselves out a little bit, whereas I sort of lived that other life too. That's why I'm happy now. Like, I've gone in all in my career the last 10 years because I've done all of that. I've lived that life, and all I want to do now is just have that strap around my waist. I came here and I fought here till 2015, and I built up a great following. If you had me on the card, you know, we'll sell it out. Irish do come to support. I definitely know there'll be a lot of people from Sydney coming, and the Irish always get out to support. In Mexico, there was we have 20 or 30. At times, that was nearly all you could hear in a 16,000 stadium. So yeah, they bring a good atmosphere. I had a fight contract with PBC, and that involved being in America. For my last one, Glenn could only come out 1 week before. All the travel back and forward. Similar thing with Charlo, going back over and back again. I had to sit back and go, right, without I'm making excuses, but I had to sit back and go, what's the determining factor here? Well, I'm training in one place and I'm flying to the next to fight. Why don't I go situate myself there, have a full camp, and be on? Because whenever I've done that, I've won and felt great. So I had to say, look, I'm going to be in America for longer camps now. For my last fight, I went over, me and Glenn shook hands and parted ways, and we're still friends. And I made that decision, and I started working with Wayne McCullough.
For him to leave Glen Rushton, that means one thing, and that means confused, not knowing what he needs, lack of chemistry. Me and my team, we don't have that. We have a 100% bond that we know that whatever happens in life and whatever happens in boxing, we always stick with each other. Only when you're confused and find something lacking that you start finding excuses to fire your coach and to find someone else. Should have stuck with his old trainer.
I think when people are making these predictions and stuff, I don't think they look at my ability to adapt. And when they see me at my best, if they know I'm coming at my best, well, I truly believe I can beat anybody. That's my belief.
He's going to be interesting. He's a different type of style that I've fought before. Similar to Jeff, but a bit different. So there will be things that I could do similar, but it's going to be a completely different fight. And I know he's going to be a tough challenge. And look, he trains hard. I know that for a fact. He's thinking that this is his last hurrah. History writes its own words, and he doesn't have the W. He's got losses. Look, I respect him for taking those big fights. They're the fights that the fighters dream about, is to be fighting in front of millions of people for that big crown.
He's done everything right. In terms of where I am, for me to not to be favoured for this, and given the terms of everything, then well, yeah, it is a massive hype train. Like Munguia was. I didn't get the decision in that fight, but his hype died down after that fight, you know, and then he didn't give me the rematch. I still got tagged on definitely on a weekly basis by hundreds of Mexicans. Whenever he puts up a post, fight Hogan again, you lost to him. The family and friends got a standing ovation leaving the Monterrey place, and so I believe that that's going to happen again. I can't see how they would overlook me in this regard, but it is what it is.
Look, Dennis Hogan, he's going to be a tough competitor. He's a tough fighter, but he's living in the past. He keeps talking about his Munguia fight, that Charlo. They both ended with a loss, and the history books will say that.
I do think Tim, he's not as sloppy. I think Munguia was a little bit sloppy in different places. I think that Tszyu is a bit more tidy in that regard. In terms of catching me when I'm moving, I don't feel he's got any extra movement more than Munguia would have had. And, you know, Munguia was brilliant in his previous fights at cutting off the ring. A bit like Tyson Fury in his last one. I'm not looking to move as much. I'm looking to go, and I believe that I can beat him in range and at mid-range. So out-range is where I usually am a bit more dominant, catch people, move, catch them coming in.
I'm 17 fights in. Who's he fought in his first 17 fights? Let's compare resumes. Who's he done compared to my first 17, you know? So what's he had 32, 33 fights. The only last 2 fights are the ones that he's fought against someone. Both of the times that he's fought, he's lost. So a loss is a loss, a win is a win. You can't sook about it. One way to not allow that type of decisions is to not let it go decision. So win, and win convincingly, that there's no words needed.
The boxing purists hit me up and they tell me how great a fight this is, and obviously a lot of people are hitting me up, are biased and telling me I'm going to do well and everything else, but I think it's just the casual fan who is inclined to be persuaded by hype. I've read all kinds of silly things like that my chin is now sus because I got knocked down by Charlo and all sorts of crazy things. None of that bothers me.
He also believed that he could beat Charlo. So what happened? There you go. Every fighter is going to have confidence and they need to psych themselves up and they need something to push them forward, and it's just words. I don't believe in words. I believe in fighting. In reality, does he think that he punches harder than Jamal Charlo, world #1 middleweight if you don't include Canelo? Does he think he punches harder than him? So, if he does, he'll go on to have a fantastic career, but I'm here to test that. I feel there's a good opportunity for people to make a few quid for themselves. So, I mean, you're a big favourite. Do you feel the pressure on that? No. No? I like responsibility.
It's good. You'll have a bit of it. There's a lot of hype right now with Tim, and he's riding that train well. He's next in line, but I've got the opportunity to take that spot, so, you know, who's more hungry for this? That's what it'll come down to.
I'm ready to eat. I'm not letting him eat.
How does somebody get that lift and get those fights and all of that first up? How has he gotten all of that? You tell me.
Well, look, there's levels, and Dennis is just under world title level. Numbers don't lie. When's the last time he got a KO against a worthy opponent?
I had heard before that he doesn't respect my power, and I think that's a funny one. Even Jamal Charlo had a bit of respect for it. Anybody at 154 has had respect for it when they get hit.
My goals haven't changed. My goals only keep going up and up. So I have to keep pursuing, because that's what gets me up every morning.
I'm very, very much looking forward to landing a couple of really good shots there and seeing where his game plan goes from there.
I believe I train the hardest. I push myself to limits that aren't fun. It's a very hard sport, and I know the sacrifices involved. So in terms of myself, I push myself the hardest I can, and that's all I can do.
Dennis Hogan for the win, 100%. There's a rematch clause, and then I'll do it again if they want it, and then I'm in pole position for the World Championship.
My prediction? I think I win convincingly within 8 rounds.
Tim, I heard your prediction. The hype won't carry you through this fight, mate. I'm a different caliber. All the best, and I'll see you on fight night.
Dennis, March 31st, I'm not coming for a decision win like you think you are. I'm coming for knockout. I'm coming to take you out. I'm coming for everything.
Tszyu Part 2 is Australian boxing's new king. Now it's time to step up. Bring on 2-time world title challenger Dennis Hogan.
Can he pull this off?
Tszyu's toughest test yet, with a world title shot on the line.
Dominant, destructive performance from Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu versus Dennis Hogan, Wednesday, March 31, only on Main Event.